Welcome everyone to my SE Figuarts review of Doctor Strange from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is Bandai Tamashii Nation's latest release for their MCU lineup. Of course, this movie is out in just a few days, one of the most anticipated films of 2022. It is the star of the movie, Doctor Strange, and I would have preferred if they gave us something new, something different like Wanda or America Chavez, since we've seen plenty of Doctor Strange SH Figuarts in the past, so I'm not that excited for this figure. And in terms of the box art, you can see it's slightly different from what we've seen in the past. I noticed the shot of Doctor Strange is a lot further out, it's the full body shot, whereas some of the old figures you can see it's a lot closer, both the Infinity War ones. And you can see that Tamashii Nations always have this color theme to match the movie, so you have the portal or the red colors. Let's bring in some more different boxes just to show you the Infinity War Scarlet Witch and the No Way Home Spider-Man. You can see the artwork is a lot closer, so it's just something to bear in mind, and maybe they'll start doing this for the future figures as well. The sides is kind of the usual titles which wraps around, and then we have the shot of the figure, the top, and then the bottom, and then the back with different poses. So inside we have the usual manual to show you how to put on the accessories, and we also have the background, and it's something a bit different as well. It's not a plain color, they've actually used artwork to match the theme of the movie, so you can use this as a background. And with the blue and red colors, it's really nice because I think it matches the theme of the multiverse, which is you meet different versions of yourself with the good and the evil. And here is the figure and accessories inside its packaging. So here is the Doctor Strange figure out of his packaging, and my first impressions. This is a all new sculpt, new design, and obviously new costume this time for this movie. And I think it's about time, since we've seen Doctor Strange kind of looking the same throughout the movies. From his solo movie, Infinity War, Endgame, Spider-Man No Way Home, he kind of had the same costume on. So this one looks a bit different. Obviously the outlook is kind of the same with the red cape, the Eye of Agamotto around his neck, as well as the belts, but there's a lot more blue this time. Let me quickly bring in the Infinity War Baton Titan version. This is the design that I still prefer. There's a lot more going on, and I'm so used to this costume, I still prefer it. Whereas this one, I'm probably gonna have to wait until I watch the movie before it grows on me. And one other difference is obviously it's a new head sculpt again, and it's a bit plain, but in some angles I think it looks pretty good. It definitely looks like the actor Benedict Cumberbatch. I really like the way they've sculpted the hair and just the way they've painted it. Again, you can make comparisons with the Infinity War editions. Which one do you prefer? There's probably a bit more detail on the old one, but the new version isn't that bad. It actually looks pretty good in some angles. I think probably even better than the Infinity War one, believe it or not. Let's bring in the first one. This is the first Infinity War one, which is the same as the solo movie. This is probably the weakest head sculpt out of all of them, as they improved on this one, but I feel it's a toss between these two. I think some ways this one looks better, and then in some ways this one looks better. So it's nice that they've used a different head sculpt again this time. And then for the Eye of Agamotto, it's the same. You can't move it at all, it's kind of attached to the chest. And then this is the rest of the design, with obviously the boots and then the back. So one other thing we noticed, obviously from comparing the other two, is the cape. So the first one used a all hard plastic, which kind of got in the way for poses. And then for the Baton Titan one, they improved on it. It was hard plastic at the collar, but then the bottom was soft cape, which can be removed. And then for this one, Multiverse of Madness, it's probably the most realistic cape because it's the all soft cape, but at the same time I think it looks a bit messy on him because it's kind of hovering behind him. It can be removed, but I feel that it's floating a bit too much. I think the collars are meant to be right down here, and this collar part is too high. So you do have the good and bad of using an all soft cape. So I'm not too sure if it's the best idea to do that or to stick to the way they designed the old versions. But obviously when he removes the cape, which he will do in the movie, he has to have all of it off, whereas the previous version you can only remove the bottom half, which obviously was unrealistic. So that's the only way they could do it. But you can see that the cape has this patterns inside, and there's also wire as well, so you can do different poses, floating poses as well. And let's remove the cape, because obviously it can be done. And I read in the manual you've got to be very careful. You don't just pull it out, you've got to kind of push it upwards and then you take it out. That's just the way they designed it. So you have the cape on its own, and then you have the replacement piece which you can place behind him. So there you have Doctor Strange without the cape. And I think the next thing we can do is take a look at the accessories, and then we'll move on to the articulation. So first let's take a look at the alternate hands. It does include 7 extra sets of alternate hands plus 1 extra left hand. So this is kind of standard for Doctor Strange, since he does have many different poses with all the magic spells. So the first set is the relaxed palms. Then we have the slightly open palms. Next is the open palms. Then we have some magic spell hands. The second set of magic spell hands. And then we get the open palms for the magic circles. And the final set of hands is something we haven't seen before, which is the closed fist for the magic circles. And we also get an extra left hand which has the sling ring attached to it. The figure includes 2 magic circles, this time sculpted in hard plastic in orange colour. And this is an improvement to the old SH Figuarts Doctor Strange figures, as those ones used a thin transparent plastic which was painted over. But even though those had different colours and sizes, this one is better in terms of the sculpt. Also in the accessories, it does include this snake effect which you may have seen in the trailers. Obviously that one had multiple heads, so I'm not sure how accurate this is, but it's still a bonus to have it. And I think it's sculpted pretty well with this hard plastic, with the flames on one side, and then it's kind of transparent in the middle, and then on the other side we have a well sculpted snake head. So what you do is you're meant to place it on top of this plastic stand, and then you're meant to connect one of Doctor Strange's hands. Before obviously I used this for the magic circle, which was probably not accurate. It's actually for the snake effect, so you're meant to place it on the other side, and then you're meant to get like a really cool pose. One other use for the stand is for the floating cape, which you are meant to use this plastic cube and then connect it with the cape, and then you can place it on the stand. So you also have the flying cape. So now we can test out the articulation, which to machinations are known to be one of the best on the market for the 1/12 scale. So starting with the head sculpt, it can tilt side to side, and it can go around all the way if you want, which includes the neck. And then it can go forwards and upwards, so standard there. And then we have the arms, which is the same on both sides, so it can stretch wide. So there is an extra piece for the shoulder pads, and then the arm can rotate round and round. It can go forwards and backwards and upwards, outwards and inwards slightly. And then there's also a elbow bend. So there's no swivel on the lower half of the arm, but there is rotation on the hands and small hinges as well, but not so much for the hinge. And then for the body, there's side to side. I think it can go all the way around if you want, and then it can go this way as well, left and right, and then crunch forwards and backwards, which is pretty smooth. And then for the legs, there's probably a bit more limitation here since the clothes kind of get in the way, but the legs can obviously move forwards. Just do it very careful. and then backwards not so much obviously. It can go side to side, and there's a knee bend like this, and then small rotation on the legs inwards, not so much outwards. And then for the foot, obviously there's a full rotation and a toe hinge. So now let's take a look at some side-by-side comparisons with the other SH Figuarts Doctor Stranges I have in my collection, with the one on the left being the first Infinity War edition, and the one on the right is the Infinity War Baton Titan version. And as you can see, the latest in the middle, the Multiverse of Madness, is the tallest version. And next up, next to the SH Figuarts Wanda from Infinity War and the Spider-Man integrator suit from the No Way Home line. And here it is next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. On the left is Wong from the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and on the right is Captain Carter from the What If line. At the moment, Wong is the only one I have from the Hasbro line, but maybe later on I will pick up America Chavez and Master Mortal. So now for my final thoughts on the SH Figuarts Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It's a decent figure in my opinion, since I feel it is exclusive to this movie with the new design of the costume as well as the snake accessory. However, I wouldn't say it's a major difference if you already have the Infinity War Baton Titan. It's probably more worth it if you have just the older versions. I feel you get a lot of different poses with the hands, magic circles and the floating cape. The issue I have with the cape, however, is you can't really connect it to the body. It seems as though it's hovering behind rather than him actually wearing it. Maybe they could have added 2 extra connection pieces on the shoulders. But it is something different as you can remove it and place it on the sand, so I can't complain too much. And the other thing is the magic circles are done better this time as it's sculpted in hard plastic. Maybe they could have given us extra ones like the green colour, but it's hard to say since we haven't seen the film yet. And there's no alternate head sculpt, which I think for the Infinity War Baton Titan that was a big plus. So overall it's a nice figure, but nothing to be amazed by since we have so many Doctor Strange SH Figuarts, or rather we see someone new like Wanda or America Chavez. So my score would be a 7 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It does encourage me to do more content, as I will look to do a full comparison with the Infinity War SH Figuarts editions. Thanks for watching and hope to see you next time.